Hey, this is Nat, and we're off our couch midway between Jacksonville, Florida, and Savannah, Georgia. That's about 75 miles north from Jacksonville and 82 miles south of Savannah, to be exact, visiting the beautiful St. Simon's Island, Georgia, a barrier island within the Golden Isles, the largest one, in fact, located off the coast of Georgia. And here in St. Simon's Island, we are visiting the World War II Home Front Museum. The World War II Home Front Museum retells the many inspiring and important stories of coastal Georgia's contributions to help secure the United States and Allies' victory during World War II. The museum is located in the historic St. Simon's Coast Guard Station, and through interactive displays, eye-catching visuals, and hands-on exhibits, we will learn more about World War II and the impact that coastal Georgia had on the war. We have 2 buildings to walk through, nearly 4 years of history to discuss, so we should get right to it. First, before getting too ahead of ourselves, let's talk discounts like we normally do. And let's talk admission details. There is a $2 military discount on admission tickets available to military members and their family. There is also a combo ticket option. If you'll be visiting both the St. Simon's Lighthouse Museum, which is just 2 miles away, as well as this museum, you can take advantage of a discounted rate. If you do need more details about the lighthouse, if you're considering adding that on to your visit while in St. Simon's Island, our experience visiting the lighthouse is in the description. Okay, I feel we're ready to get started now on our history lesson focused on World War II and coastal Georgia. And we are in the first building of our adventure today. That is in the back behind the building that's facing the parking lot and the beach. This is where we purchase our tickets and combo tickets too if you're also visiting the lighthouse. This is where the gift shop is located, and this can serve as our starting point because we can really immerse ourselves in the contributions Georgia made during the Second World War with all of these various museums and sites spread across the state, which make up the World War II Heritage Trail. And I'm certain we will make it to a few of these, and we'll take you all along with us, of course. So if you're yet to subscribe, please keep getting off the couch with us. In fact, the St. Mary's Submarine Museum is really close to us since we live in Jacksonville, Florida. So we're planning a trip there already. So moving on, we are looking at a World War II timeline. And behind us is a film taking us through the involvement of the residents of this area, coastal Georgia, during World War II, the years 1941 to 1945. Once we watch the film and exit that room, we get into the hands-on exhibits where we get to play while we learn. At this station, it's our job to identify planes. Are they friend or foe? Something I learned about from these visuals, as well as the docent, that I had never even heard of. They enforced blackouts during the war, where no lights were to be seen from your house. Street lights were covered. The darkness was intended so it would lessen the risk of the U.S. being a target for aerial attacks. And on the East Coast, like here in coastal Georgia, it reduced the threat of German U-boats attacking. This next area is so interesting. It is focused on war bonds, used to raise money to finance a war, in this case World War II. 85 million Americans purchased war bonds, which accumulate to a total of $185.7 billion, which is $1.5 trillion in today's money during World War II. Also within this exhibit area, it is focused on the conservation during the war, stretching everything as we're lifting the tabs and discovering. So more money and more supplies would be directed to the war effort. And this visual interactive budgeter, that's what I will call it, drives home the fact that there are only so many ration points. Choose wisely. If you join us off the couch for a previous dive into World War II history that we enjoyed at the USS Alabama Battleship Memorial Park in Mobile, Alabama, thank you for joining us then and now. And you may recall then I was talking about the message the Memorial Park was trying to get across, that the war affected every American. Food for everyone, including children, was rationed. Everyone, again including children, could buy bonds. Several groups, schools, churches, social groups, and workplaces sold bonds. Men between the ages of 21 and 35. Later, after the attack on Pearl Harbor, the ages became 18 to 45. Men in this age group were eligible to be drafted. And this board, no matter what I select, regardless of the different combinations my kids select, there is a job. There is something that can be done to aid the war effort. I believe the USS Alabama Battleship Memorial Park that we recently visited in Mobile, Alabama. That video is in the description if you'd like to check it out. As well as this museum that we're touring now. They do a fantastic job of driving home that point. One final interesting fact in this building that I'd like to point out before we continue. We hear a lot, I feel, about the influx of women joining the workforce during World War II. I do find it interesting too, though, that African Americans facing segregation and discrimination were able to gain access to skilled positions and higher paying jobs during the war. This allowed steps to be made toward racial equality prior to the Civil Rights Movement. Well, we are out of the exhibits, back into the gift shop. So we have walked through this building. We can go ahead and move on to the next. And in all honesty, we actually are returning to this building because this is where we first walked in. Before, we didn't even know there was a building behind this one. So we are back now, armed with more knowledge. This building is interactive, just like the first one. So let's get to it. We're learning about tying knots, something my son is very familiar with as a Boy Scout, and Morse code, a combination of long and short signals of light or sound. So I walked into this next room and found my daughter hard at work, listening to directions, trying to determine if she should be attacking the plane or just letting the plane be. This is the most focused I've seen her, and for good reason. This is hard. I decided to try it. It was intriguing. I've never done something like this before, so I wanted to try it out. But they are calling out information on 3 different bogies at a time, and you don't want to mistake an enemy as friendly or shoot down someone on your side. Talk about pressure. As I state that, on the wall is written, "Panic is your worst enemy." Just a little bit of the information Navy pilot trainees were taught. This room is explaining how planes became just as important as ships during World War II. And this next room is demonstrating the role of blimps during the war. When I think war, I do not think blimps. So this room has my attention. Plus, I love the look of it. Getting back to the purpose of the blimps, though, blimps were used to escort convoys and protect them from German U-boats. Plus, they were used to detect submerged submarines. Fascinating. And the exhibit offers some hands-on activities concerning the blimps too, which is really cool. In another room, we learn about the Battle of the Atlantic, and this was taking place even before the U.S. entered World War II. So before the attack on Pearl Harbor, the U.S. was already being attacked. Maybe you all knew this, but this is something I did not know. In fact, there's a lot I did not know before entering this gallery. The museum is truly eye-opening. This next exhibit is about the need to build more cargo ships, which are referred to as Liberty ships. One of the shipyards where these Liberty ships, which actually were cargo vessels built quickly and cheaply using fabricated parts, was located here in coastal Georgia and Brunswick, Georgia, the mainland, about 7 miles from St. Simon's Island. And as we've seen already in this museum, if you take in information more by doing rather than seeing and reading, you can get to work and actually build and join the crew of a Liberty ship. I like the reading and doing. I like the reading a bit more personally. There's so many incredible stories in this museum, so much information. And that thought leads us to the final area in this museum where we can reflect on all that we've read and done within this museum. Write it down, perhaps have it posted so others can read our stories. And in the background, we can choose to listen to stories from residents of coastal Georgia concerning their involvement and experience of World War II. We'd love to know, what did you learn today? And what did you take from your experience here at the World War II Home Front Museum. As I stated multiple times before, I found the museum fascinating. I learned so much and was just pulled in by all the information and how it was visually laid out. I also like the fact that it was telling the story from coastal Georgia's point of view, from the perspective of these residents, rather than a big picture summary of the entire war. I felt like it really gave a more personal, more intimate feeling of the war and more details too, to actually hear individual stories of those impacted in this area by World War II. I'm really surprised we had not visited this museum sooner. We've been to St. Simon's Island multiple times now, and I had no idea we would enjoy this so much. What I'm most surprised about though is how much my daughter enjoyed this as well. There was never a dull moment. She played, she interacted, she learned something in every single exhibit and gallery. I did expect that from my son. He loves military history. I was sure he would love it. My daughter surprised me though, and I feel confident saying that this is a great family activity here on St. Simon's Island. I'd love to hear your thoughts, of course. Leave those in the comments, please. If you've already visited, share your experience. If you're planning a visit to the World War II Home Front Museum and St. Simon's Island, let us know what you're looking forward to. And if you found this video helpful with your planning, please hit the thumbs up button. Let us know that too. We have more adventures coming your way as well, and from St. Simon's Island, Georgia too. Each and every Saturday, we are off our couch for a new adventure, and that adventure is in a town lost to time. Join us at Fort Frederica National Monument, a town and fort established by the founder of Georgia, James Oglethorpe. With some reading and a little bit of imagination, we'll walk the streets and learn more about what was once Frederica. If you're yet to subscribe please. Join us off the couch. Join us too for our monthly newsletter. Each month we provide travel tips, travel freebies, inspiration to help you when you find yourself off the couch. And right now we have a freebie from our newsletters available. Take advantage of your free summer travel ideas downloads. The sign up link is in the description and on our website at offourcouch.com. As always, thank you so much for joining us on this outing in beautiful St. Simon's Island, Georgia, visiting the World War II Home Front Museum. Thank you for the likes, shares, comments, suggestions, and feedback. All of you join us off the couch week after week is what makes these adventures possible, so thank you. Until next week, click on the video to see another one of our experiences. Thanks for watching.